It's actually possible to have invisible leading lines within a piece of artwork. I know that sounds ridiculous because if we think of leading lines as an arrow, it seems obvious that the arrow must be visible in order to control the direction that we look towards. However, there is one example of an invisible leading line. If there is a figure in your painting, then their line of sight will act in exactly the same way as an arrow or a leading line. We are curious creatures, and if we see someone looking in a particular direction, we tend to join them. We want to know what they're looking at. And instinctively, we follow their eyes. If you want to test this, get a friend to stand in a busy location, looking towards the ceiling, and then watch how many people will look up to see what he or she is looking at. When a character in a painting looks to the sky, we also look up. We see their world as separate to our own, so we don't look at the ceiling, we look at the upper part of the canvas. In a painting, if a character is looking in a particular direction, then we will also focus on that area. The eyes of a figure act in the same way as a harsh leading line, and it has a large amount of strength. This is my version of Youth Admired by Women, a painting that was originally by Ferdinand Hodler. The original is an excellent example of how the figures within a painting can control where you look. All of these women look towards the man on the right. There are 5 figures in this image, but the viewer will look more closely at the figure on the right, because the other figures look towards him. The eyes of the women act like an arrow pointing you towards the man. I should mention that in the original image the man is naked, and I did change that. I wanted an image that I could share without restrictions, and nudity can sometimes create problems in that area. You could say the women are looking at him because he's breaking social rules and wandering around naked. Although I don't think it would be possible to misinterpret this piece, because there is something very flirtatious about the poses by the women. Personally, I see him as being naked within their imaginations. The image has a wonderful playfulness that I love. This piece of artwork also shows another technique that can be used. The male figure looks directly towards the viewer. When we look people in the eye, it increases our connection, and using this technique within a painting will increase a person's connection to the character in the image and the image itself. It is another tool that makes that figure more dominant within the painting. We find it easier to connect to and relate to the characters that look directly towards us. Perhaps Hodler wanted the viewer to see themselves within this young man, and that's why he chose to use this technique. An older male viewer might reminisce to a time when women admired them for their youthful looks. Hodler is cultivating that kind of response with the techniques he's using. When you're creating a piece of artwork, you might want the viewer to have a particular experience, and this is achieved through a variety of techniques, including these composition tools. A painting is never just a painting.